The election race is on. First up, NDP leader Rachel Notley taking a jab at Jason Kenney over his view on women.
As we can tell from his many remarks, Jason Kenney isn't always comfortable with strong women. For example, he doesn't think that we're very good at what he calls tactical politics.
What she's talking about here is Kenney was asked at a press conference about how the UCP has tried to recruit female candidates. What he actually said is this.
Very typically, women candidates for nominations are running for the first time and often running against guys who have been in politics for years or decades and have a network and understand tactical politics a little bit better than women who have been doing usually more useful things like professions and running businesses and helping with families.
So it's not quite the same as saying women in general are not as good as men in tactical politics. Some would say it's a little out of context. So let's call this statement muddy. And now on to the next statement made by Notley during her first election speech.
His plan for healthcare, privatize it. His plan for education, cut it. His plan for new infrastructure, toll it.
It's a good soundbite, but it's an overgeneralization at best. In relation to healthcare, UCP leader Jason Kenney has said that his party would maintain public healthcare funding, but his party would try to find ways to lower costs, including a review of Alberta Health Services and killing the so-called super lab of Edmonton. As for education, Kenney has said he'd put an end to the NDP's revamp of the school curriculum and expand school choices, but he hasn't said anything about closing schools. And those tolls that everybody's talking about, the UCP said they would bring it in, but only for new industrial infrastructure. And now for the other side, UCP leader Jason Kenney made a lot of claims about the economy in the campaign kickoff.
People are paying more just to heat their homes and drive to work because of the NDP's carbon tax.
That turns out to be true. Homeowners are paying more on their monthly heating bills because of the carbon tax. However, it's important to note that the carbon tax rebate is offsetting some of those increases and putting money back into the pockets of low and middle income Albertans. That wasn't the only knock against the carbon tax. Kenney also said this.
And we cannot afford the NDP's planned 67% increase in that carbon tax.
The NDP planned. Notice the past tense there? The 67% figure would have been true had Rachel Notley not pulled Alberta out of the federal government's climate plan in protest of the Trans Mountain Pipeline. In reality, the Notley government has only raised the carbon tax by 50% so far. Okay, so that's a lot of policy talk. What about the nitty-gritty politics? In general, Kenney avoided taking a lot of personal jabs at Notley, but he did have to say this.
The week after she became premier, Rachel Notley said that she was tired of Alberta being the embarrassing cousin that no one wants to talk about.
Did she really say that? Yeah, she did. But it was in the context of referencing previous governments and the record of environmental issues. That's it for Fact Checker. Stephanie Dubois, CBC News, Edmonton.